Everyone, I'm Annabelle Sedano. A big announcement from federal authorities today about the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips gang in South LA. Detectives have arrested multiple people, but they're still looking for others. NBC 4's here joins us live from downtown LA with the latest. Alex.
Annabelle, yes, the feds have arrested a number of people, accused Rolling 60s gang members who they say are connected to this crime ring. But today, they talked a whole lot about one man who they say is a longtime leader of the Rolling 60s gang, a man they are still looking for right now, Eugene Henley Jr.
Federal prosecutors say Eugene Henley Jr. is a longtime leader of the Rolling 60s Crips gang. But in recent years, he's worked in entertainment and run a youth charity that the acting U.S. attorney now says was a front for his criminal enterprise.
He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur, running a music label, and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar.
Henley Jr. is now a fugitive. The feds say he committed a series of racketeering crimes, including extortion, human trafficking, fraud, and the 2021 murder of an aspiring rapper.
Mr. Henley engaged in a murder of a musician signed to his label in 2021 and dumped the victim's body in Las Vegas off of the I-15 freeway.
And investigators say he committed crimes while running his charity Developing Options. The nonprofit, seen here on its website, works with groups like the Crenshaw Rams youth football team and brands itself as a group that gives underprivileged kids options beyond gang violence. And now he's accused of taking money meant for that group.
Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes.
The criminal complaint says since about 2015, Developing Options has received millions of dollars from the city of LA's Crip program. From that, the court documents say Henley has drawn hundreds of thousands of dollars for his salary.
That on the one hand, he's, Mr. Charity, and on the other hand, he's engaging in all of this criminal conduct.
Today, the FBI also arrested several other accused Rolling 60s gang members they say are tied to this crime ring.
4 of the 19 defendants were already in custody, and 10 defendants were taken into custody in the last 24 hours. During this investigation, we recovered 49 weapons, 5 pounds of methamphetamines, 10,000 fentanyl pills, and large amounts of cash.
The FBI said the Rolling 60s gang is among the largest in the country, and now they are searching for who they say is one of the gang's longtime leaders, Eugene Henley Jr.
If convicted of the federal racketeering charges, Henley Jr. faces a potential 20-year prison sentence. But again, he's a fugitive on the run right now. You're asked to contact the FBI if you know about his whereabouts. Reporting live, I'm Alex Rozier, NBC4 News.
If you live in the United States and don't have life insurance, this message is for you. Until the end of this month would be the cheapest time for you to get approved for no medical life insurance.
Music and community figures is now facing serious criminal charges.
That's right. Federal authorities say Eugene BigU Henley led a violent criminal enterprise responsible for murder, extortion, and fraud.
KCAL News anchor Gio Signaris joins us now with a story that is shocking a whole lot of people tonight.
That's certainly an understatement, Juan. Susie, good evening to both of you. Authorities describing Eugene BigU Henley as a man who presented himself as an entertainment entrepreneur and a community leader. We've even reported on his charitable efforts as recently as this past Christmas. But federal investigators now say he ran what they're calling a mafia-like organization responsible for serious crimes across LA. Federal agents say Eugene Henley led what they're calling the BigU Enterprise, a criminal organization tied to the Rolling 60s Crips street gang. According to a 107-page complaint, Henley and his associates allegedly extorted professional athletes and musicians, including NBA star Draymond Green and Lakers legend Shaquille O'Neal, persuading them to donate to his charities and later allegedly transferring the money to his personal bank accounts.
The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar, and a cheat, and the criminals that enabled him.
Authorities also say Henley is linked to the 2021 murder of an aspiring rapper whose body was found in the Las Vegas desert. Investigators accuse Henley of fatally shooting the young musician over a dispute. In addition to violent crimes, prosecutors say Henley defrauded donors.
Hit that subscribe button for me.
Funneling charity funds into his personal accounts. His organization, Developing Options, received millions from LA's Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program.
He used that goodwill to benefit himself. He diverted money from that charity and lined his own pockets with it.
Right.
And that money was ultimately traced, and that we can show that he used it for personal purposes.
Dr. Georgia Leap, an adjunct professor of social welfare at UCLA, is an expert in gangs and community justice. She knew Henley through her work and says this latest news is heartbreaking, but not shocking.
He was a very charismatic, very arresting, no pun intended.
Thank you for the like.
Arresting personality.
Please hit that
And,
subscribe button.
You know, he had the smile and he had the charisma and he could talk to kids and he could talk to OGs and everybody in between.
I got a Ninja Turtle set and I got a Spider-Man set.
Last Christmas, he collected $40,000 in donations for a South LA toy drive. But the night before the event, he claimed a truck containing all the toys was stolen. He offered up security video of the truck driving off and pleaded with the community to donate again. It did. At the time, Henley called it a great save by the community.
To think that somebody was stealing a bunch of toys, stealing Christmas, that's kind of crazy.
Henley's community roots also stretch to other major Southern California figures. He helped launch the career of rapper Nipsey Hussle and starred in a 2021 FX docuseries called Hip Hop Uncovered. Henley's
Yeah, I know. I posted it on the page.
Crime, not just with gangs, but the world of crime is seductive. And even when people say they walked away, a minority, a small number, get lured back in.
Henley, who previously served 13 years in prison for a drug-related
I
robbery,
try to keep
turned himself
people
in
up on
Wednesday
what's
afternoon.
going on
He'll face
everywhere.
charges of extortion, human trafficking, fraud, and murder. Henley is among 19 people accused in the wide-ranging charges. As for the long-term impact, experts believe a sense of betrayal from community members is understandable, but won't deter the long-term goal of helping others.
And I think once people deal with that sense of betrayal, they're going to look at others who they trust and continue to put their faith in them.
Federal authorities say this case is part of a broader effort to combat organized crime in LA and ensure community safety. Now, if convicted, Henley could face a max sentence of life in prison. Susie, I'll send it.
Whoa. So they saying he could face up to life in prison, y'all, for the crimes that are alleged for. And I also heard that they might be placing him in the Nipsey Hussle murder. Yeah, man, stuff coming up now. What you think about that? Ranch?
South LA man who the feds say used taxpayer money and donations to fund gang activities. In the past hour, we've learned that Eugene Henley Jr. and Brian Mejia were taken into custody. Henley Jr. is a longtime leader of the Rolling 60s Crips, according to the FBI. But in recent years, he worked in entertainment and ran a youth charity that the acting U.S. attorney now says was a front for his criminal enterprise. NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi live in downtown LA with the very latest developments on this. Camilla?
Now, hi, Colleen. 19 defendants in total in connection to this criminal enterprise. At least 2 of them appeared in federal court earlier today. And now, as you mentioned, Eugene Henley and another fugitive are now in custody tonight in connection to this case. A known community activist and founder of a youth nonprofit in South LA now facing federal charges.
A career criminal known as BigU.
Eugene Henley is accused of being a longtime leader of the Rolling 60s Crips street gang. Federal prosecutors say Henley ran a criminal enterprise and is accused of a number of crimes, including racketeering, human trafficking, fraud, and the 2021 murder of a musician.
He has maintained the image of an entertainment industry entrepreneur, running a music label, and of somebody who gives back to the community here in Los Angeles. The facts alleged in the complaint paint a very different picture. It is one of a murderer, a thief, a liar.
Federal authorities say there are other alleged gang members facing charges they say are connected to the criminal enterprise. A number of arrests were made this week. These sketches show 2 defendants, Sylvester Robinson and Mark Martin, in federal court Wednesday afternoon.
4 of the 19 defendants were already in custody, and 10 defendants were taken into custody.
Please
in the
hit that
last 24
subscribe
hours.
button.
Court documents also state Henley fraudulently obtained funding from the city of Los Angeles through the Gang Reduction Youth Development Foundation. Henley was the founder behind the nonprofit Developing Options that helps support at-risk youth.
Mr. Henley duped the county of Los Angeles by running a nonprofit named Developing Options, which was set up to pull youth out of the gang life and promote anti-gang solutions. Yet Mr. Henley continued to personally orchestrate violent gang activity that impact our communities.
Court documents state Henley had drawn hundreds of thousands of dollars for his own use.
Mr. Henley is accused of embezzling donations made by celebrities, professional athletes, and businesses to his charity.
Federal prosecutors say Henley could face a 20-year prison sentence if convicted on the racketeering charges.
And we have learned this evening Eugene Henley and Brian Mejia are expected to be in court tomorrow. In downtown LA, Camila Rambaldi, NBC4 News.
Government and tax records show millions of dollars poured into the nonprofit the feds say was at the center of this criminal enterprise. Our investigative reporter Eric Leonard joins us now with more on how this organization was being funded and where all this money was going. Eric.
Well, hi, Michael. Well, the most surprising discovery here is that the nonprofit called the Ex-Offender Fellowship Network, which was also known as Developing Options, a pair of nonprofits that the city says were essentially one entity, were facing suspensions from state tax authorities. The city of LA has been paying these nonprofits millions of dollars in recent years, and the amounts have only gone up. The California Franchise Tax Board issued a suspension notice in April 2024 for one of the nonprofits operated by Eugene Henley Jr., who federal prosecutors in LA announced Wednesday faces racketeering and corruption charges for allegedly misusing money meant for the city's gang intervention efforts. Henley's most recent contract with the city shows a payment of nearly $800,000 due in July 2024, the final installment of a 4-year agreement that paid his groups more than $2.2 million for intervention. Henley, seen here in a red carpet photo, began forming the nonprofits in 2009, according to state records. They began receiving city gang intervention funding as far back as 2011. Between 2018 and 2023, LA Controller payment records show Henley's groups received around $500,000 a year. Then, in 2023, a significant increase that followed then-Mayor Eric Garcetti's efforts to increase funding for intervention work after the rise in violent street crime that followed the COVID-19 pandemic. Looking at the tax records for the Ex-Offender Fellowship, which includes the city money and private donations, you can see its revenue went from around $500,000 a year to nearly $800,000, then to nearly $2 million for 2023, the last tax return available. Where was the money going? The tax returns show while Eugene Henley Jr. was paid $95,000 as president and director, nearly all the money collected went to compensate unnamed top staff members, including corporate officers, directors, and trustees. According to the criminal complaint, Henley diverted much of that money to his personal bank accounts, and the feds say he allegedly pocketed tens of thousands of dollars in donations intended for the groups, including a $20,000 contribution from an NBA All-Star. Federal authorities say in addition to all of that, they believe that Henley evaded taxes by not reporting all of this income, was also allegedly involved in a scheme to get a home loan that he wouldn't have qualified for otherwise. We asked the city of LA for its response about its oversight of these gang intervention programs. The mayor's office sent us some remarks a few minutes ago and said the city has strict oversight in place, but they say the allegations made public today show that there was a sophisticated scheme to thwart that kind of oversight. Live in the News Operations Center, I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News. Back to you.
And with Henley Jr.'s influence reaching across the community and entertainment industry, there are questions tonight about where else his network might spread. NBC4's Conan Nolan joins us live from the News Operations Center to continue that part of our coverage tonight. Conan?
That's right, Colleen. When it comes to public money, this could not come at a worse time. Remember, state and local governments, including the city of LA, are looking at a major budget shortfall. They normally ask Washington for help. This news is not going to aid that effort.
All you gotta do is
Oh, you've never used it.
Hit that subscribe button, y'all.
steps of City Hall when Mayor Karen Bass touted the success of publicly funded anti-crime community groups. A message to Washington not to cut out federal grant money for the mayor's signature effort at fighting gang violence.
Through our Gang Reduction and Youth Development Program, also known as GRID, we are directly addressing gang violence through intervention, prevention, and community engagement services.
But according to the U.S. Department of Justice today, not all of that money was going to reduce gang violence. Federal authorities say self-described community activist Eugene Hanley, also known as Big U, received $2.3 million from the city over 5 years for gang intervention efforts. Money prosecutors say instead went into drug trafficking, fraud, even murder. And Henley's own bank account.
A criminal enterprise where hundreds of thousands of dollars were siphoned off that should have gone to charitable purposes, gang reduction, gang intervention.
The news comes exactly at the wrong time for those trying to halt the evisceration of federal spending by the Trump administration, and most specifically, billionaire Elon Musk. While crime prevention grant money is a tiny fraction of the overall federal budget, it helps with the messaging from the White House, says Jessica Levinson, former chair of the Los Angeles Ethics Commission. She teaches election law at Loyola Law School.
Is it possible that this becomes an example for Elon Musk to point to? I think at this point, everything is possible. Everything is on the table, saying, look at this terrible use of your taxpayer money. That's generally a winner for people who want to reduce federal funding and federal spending.
And it's not just the issue
Wow.
of gangs, but also of homelessness. Today, the Los Angeles City Council voted 13-0 to try to track the money they
That's
get from the
crazy.
city and over to nonprofit groups. One member
Hit
of the
that
council
subscribe
said that
button,
nobody
please.
at City Hall actually knows how many of those community groups go into homeless encampment areas to help, or how many beds are filled every night. I'm Conan Owen, NBC4 News.
Great ideas can come.
That's crazy, man.
Just coming into our newsroom, 2 fugitives wanted by the FBI, including a longtime accused LA gang leader, now in custody tonight.
Let's get right to Mark.
Okay.
Who joins us now with new developments live in the newsroom. Mark?
Yeah, David and Ellen, good evening. We have been following this story throughout the day. Federal officers arrested more than a dozen members tied to the gang known as the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, though its leader was on the run. Well, within the last 20 minutes, the FBI announcing that man, Eugene Henley Jr., a.k.a. Big U, is now in custody. We have just learned new details that Henley turned himself in. Earlier, Air 7 was overhead as some of the alleged gang members were being processed at the FBI. 19 were indicted. The FBI says Henley headed up the local Crips gang for decades. And investigators say that he painted himself as an entertainment executive who's been giving back to the community with various charities, but they say Henley is a violent criminal. A woman who knew him says that he has had a positive impact on the community.
He was incredible, whether it was a 7-year-old child or a 50-year-old former gang member coming out of incarceration. His ability to communicate and relate was excellent. If these charges are true, because they're still allegations, they are not a done deal, they're allegations. If they're true, then Eugene Henley was somebody who presented 2 faces to this world.
Charges in this gang bust range from racketeering to murder. A second fugitive the FBI was looking for.
Please
was
hit that
also
subscribe
apprehended.
button.
The FBI says Henley is from the Hyde Park area of South LA. If convicted, he would face a max sentence of life in federal prison. We are told that he should be in court tomorrow. Live in the newsroom, Mark Robles, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. David, back to you.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC 7 content by clicking the subscribe.
So y'all see what's going on. He turned himself in. He'll be at court tomorrow in the morning. It's crazy. Just listening to the news just now, man, it just showed me the twist they putting on this thing. They taking this thing to the political side, ain't it? Because he got them endorsements from through his nonprofit organization. Woo-wee. So now they trying to push this political, and if he's found guilty, he faces up to life in prison. Life in 2025? That's crazy. Man. That's crazy. But man, thank y'all so much for tuning in with this situation. Right now, the next situation is the rapper Lotto Savage got killed today. And it's a sad song. I know that brother. And I know his mother too. I'm scared to call her. But stay tuned. I'm gonna keep y'all lit with information. Hit that subscribe button. God bless you and your family. I send blessings to you and your family. Later, y'all. Gone.